They were caught in the crossfire and now they have no place to go. According to the International Organization for Migration, 8,000 people were forced to leave Ramadi when fighters belonging to the Islamic State of Iraq and the Levant advanced into their city. But people who headed towards Baghdad are being questioned before being allowed to enter the Iraqi capital. Authorities say they want to make sure that no fighters from ISIL make it into the city.
Why aren't we allowed to go to Baghdad? Aren't we in the same country? We can't cope. It's better to die than to live this life.
Anger towards the Shia-led government runs deep in the mainly Sunni province of Anbar. There is also a feeling among people that they've been betrayed.
We spent 2 days on the road. We were humiliated at government checkpoints along the way. And what we can't understand is how the security forces just retreated and withdrew from Ramadi. Why did they do that?
Ramadi, the capital of Iraq's Sunni heartland, belongs to ISIL, at least for now. This video was released by the radical group. The provincial capital of Anbar seems to have been abandoned after a 3-day offensive that pushed government forces out. According to government officials, up to 500 security personnel and civilians were killed, either in the fighting, while others who worked for the government were murdered by ISIL. Now Iraq's Shia militias are ready to launch a counteroffensive against ISIL in Ramadi. They operate under the government-sanctioned Popular Mobilization Forces. They were responsible for pushing ISIL from the provinces of Diyala and Salahuddin, but they have also been accused of human rights abuses, and many people have still not returned to their homes. In Ramadi, the regular army and the local police were no match for ISIL. Many were seen escaping from the city. Many Sunni leaders are blaming the government for the fall of the city.
Right now we have very few options on the ground, but the best is to train and arm the local tribes, because the only group operating under the command of the Prime Minister is the Hashd al-Sha'bi, the Shia militia coalition. Unfortunately, the reluctance in bringing the local Sunni tribes on board played a factor in the fall of Ramadi and the retreat of the Iraqi security forces to Al-Habbaniyah.
That decision will alienate many Sunni tribes. Some leaders said they would even consider their involvement in Iranian occupation of their province. There is concern.
It's a Sunni area. There is an ethnic dispute, definitely before, it's long about 10 years. And there will be a clash, definitely, between the tribes and the Shiite militia. Secondly, it's more weakening the central government. Why? Because it's not the army who's getting in.
Ramadi was ISIL's first major gain after a series of defeats in recent months. The United States, which leads the coalition against ISIL, insists it is confident that Ramadi will be recaptured. That may happen, but winning the political battle could be even harder. In recaptured territories, there is little or no reconciliation between the Shia-led government and the Sunnis.
And we'll speak to Zeina now. Zeina is joining us from Baghdad. You were mentioning the U.S., Zeina, in your report, and they're saying that they are confident that Ramadi can be recaptured by Iraq. But how realistic is that?
Well, yes, they've been playing down really ISIL's gains in Ramadi, but at the end of the day, yes, you can militarily win this war if you deploy a strong force, a large force on the ground. But there is a danger to this, and this is what we heard from analysts and from Sunni tribal elders. ISIL is deeply entrenched in Anbar. They also have local support. We have to remember, it's not just Ramadi that they control much of the province. So they have local support, and the people will consider Shia militias as invaders. We've heard Sunni tribal elders warn against this. You will need a strategy, a political strategy as well. Let's look at what happened in Diyala. A few months ago, the Iraqi government recaptured that territory, pushed ISIL out. But what has happened? The province is still not at peace. There have been attacks against government forces. The people of Diyala have still not returned to their homes, and they're accusing the Shia-led militias of preventing them from doing so. And it's the same scenario in Tikrit, the capital of Salahuddin province. It is a ghost city. It was recaptured a few weeks ago, but people have not returned. So this battle cannot be won militarily alone. There needs to be a strategy involving political reconciliation.
And to put this in context, Zeina, ISIL now controls 3 cities across Iraq and Syria.
Yes, Raqqa, Ramadi, Mosul, yes, they've been pushed back from a lot of territory over the past few months, but they're still defiant. And Ramadi is important. Why? It is the provincial capital of a strategic province. Anbar is in the west of Iraq. It also borders territory that ISIL controls in neighboring Syria. They have an open supply route. They've had an open supply route for some time now. You need to cut that supply route to weaken them in Iraq. Also, by taking and capturing Ramadi, it is much easier for ISIL to move within Iraq. We have to remember the Iraqi government said that they want to recapture Anbar before marching towards Mosul in the north because it wants to cut its supply lines. Right now, that hasn't happened, and ISIL has a free route. So we are, the government has lost territory in Anbar, and it doesn't look like there's any plans to retake ISIL's main stronghold, Mosul.
Okay, Zeina, thank you. Zeina Khodr reporting from Baghdad.